Hey guys, so I'm here today to talk about the situation with Seth Francois, Jason Nash, and David Dobrik. And honestly, I'm shook that nobody else is fucking talking about this is why I'm talking about it. And I honestly think it's a perfect video to post after my James Charles video because I think it's a very good place to start talking about the issues with power dynamics on YouTube and how YouTubers are abusing their power. And I'm shocked that more people aren't talking about this situation because it needs to be talked about and it's a serious situation. And we need to start treating male survivors of I'm gonna call it SA, like Ethan and Trisha did, because I don't want to say the real words for fear of being demonetized, but assault. We need to start treating male victims the same as female victims, and we need to take this shit seriously, even if it's your faves. So before I get into this video, subscribe to my channel up every Tuesday and Thursday, and let's get into it. So if you didn't hear, which you probably didn't because nobody's fucking covering it, Seth Francois was a member of the Vlog Squad back in 2017, 2018 times. I will be full transparency here. I have never watched a David Dobrik video in my life until I was researching this one. And Seth went on the H3 podcast to talk about how he was treated in the Vlog Squad following Big Nick going on. Now, Big Nick, I believe, has a disorder that makes him smaller or shorter than normal people. I'm not sure if he's a little person or if he suffers from dwarfism, but he basically is shorter than the average person, and David Dobrik kind of used that as a mocking point in his videos. And so Big Nick went on the H3 podcast and talked about it. So then Seth decided to go on the H3 podcast as well because he wanted to discuss his literal recorded assault on David Dobrik's channel that somehow has gone undiscussed. So Seth left the Vlog Squad a while ago, and then he said he posted a video on his own channel during Black Lives Matter called Accountability, and it had a lot of clips with racial undertones and his assault from David Dobrik's channel, and he posted it not to say cancel David Dobrik or whatever, but he just posted to say, like, we need to be more aware of what we're posting. He felt very tokenized and understood that he took part in racial jokes against Black people on David's channel, and he wasn't proud of it. And so he posted that and got a lot of hate. And you know, David Dobrik also was a supporter of the Black Lives Matter movement, but he addressed his past racism, but it was very vague, saying like, if I offended you, I'm really sorry. It was never my intention to offend you if I did, which is not an apology. And there's also a video of him saying the N-word that I believe he has never addressed. So that's the first issue. And then we go on to 2017. So Seth says he had just come home from a flight. David called him or texted him and was like, hey, I need you for a bit. So he was like, okay, sure, whatever. He goes over to his place. David says, I'm doing this bit where you're gonna kiss Corinna, who was another girl who was in the vlog squad, but she's gonna wear this old man mask. And now this video has been taken down from David's YouTube channel, but if you search it, it's still up on his Facebook channel. So I did watch it and it was disturbing. And in the video, Corinna comes out wearing the old man mask with her outfit on so that Seth can see her in the outfit with the old man mask on and hear her talking. And David says, no, you don't look manly enough. We need to put some padding on you to make you look more manly. So she goes into the back where Jason Nash is. He puts on her clothes and the old man mask and comes back out. And Seth's eyes are closed when Jason comes out wearing the old man mask, so he doesn't see him approach. He just opens his eyes and he's sitting next to him on the couch, who he assumes is Corinna. They start kissing and making out for, honestly, a really fucking uncomfortably long time. And then finally David says, Seth, and Seth pulls away and Corinna is standing there, and he says, who's under the mask? And David goes, it's Jason, and Jason pulls off the mask, and like it's this whole thing where Seth like goes and rinses his mouth with soap and it's like, oh my god, that's disgusting, whatever. And this is SA, this is assault. He consented to kissing Corinna in the video, and then they swapped it out and made him kiss a 50-year-old man. I believe Jason was 46 or 45 at the time of the video and Seth was 23, so a man who was 20 years older than him forced his tongue down his throat against his will when he consented to kissing Corinna. And in the podcast, he talks about, you know, he was like, at that time, I didn't know how to react. As a Black person who's online or on TV, I heard this a lot during the last season of Big Brother with Davon and Bailey. They were like, you know, I can't act angry or else I get the angry Black person stereotype. And he knew that. He said, I thought about being angry, but then I knew I would get the angry Black person stereotype. I barely knew these people. David Dobrik was this huge star and I didn't want to upset him. And I thought maybe I'll just play along with it and it's whatever. And I think as women, if any of you watching are women, you know that women oftentimes will just laugh off inappropriate stuff in the workplace or wherever because it's just easier than having to confront it and have someone tell you you're too sensitive. So I don't think his response should be criticized at all in that video because he was just doing what he needed to do to cope and he didn't really understand what had just happened to him. And then, so that video got 10 million views and Seth says that people would come up to him and mention it and it was really traumatizing for him. And then David comes to him again in 2018 and says, hey, what can I do to get Jason to, I want to trick Jason to, I want to like trick you and have Jason kiss you again. And Seth said, I told David no. I told him people were finally starting to forget about that first video and I didn't want to do it and I didn't like it and I wanted nothing to do with it. But David doesn't listen. And instead, David tells Seth that he booked a commercial that was going to pay him $2,500 with a beef jerky company. And the setup is elaborate. And that's the thing with David. He thinks about everything so that he can truly make sure that you believe the torment he's putting you under. So Seth said he spent like a week preparing with the script and learning the script. And then he showed the David house and there's a camera crew, there's gaffers, there's sound people. Like it's a whole production setup. And he says he sits down and you can hear there's like monkeys or people in gorilla suits in the commercial. And Seth said, you know, part of me thought like he thinks that's a racially charged thing and it's obviously a racially charged thing. Why are you having a Black man in a commercial with gorillas? Like why is gorilla suit your first go-to with a Black person? Like it's pretty clear what the connotations there are. And, you know, Seth's like, I thought that, but at the same time, like this is a reputable company. Like I know this beef jerky company is a reputable company. It's my first real gig. So like I trust them. And he said, I thought maybe they'll intersplice it with some other clips and it'll make more sense in the commercial aspect. So the monkey sits down, they ask him to kiss the monkey. He starts making out with the monkey. And once again, they take off his mask and it's Jason Nash. Someone who has already violated him in the past, someone who he has verbally said he doesn't want to happen again, did it to him again. And Seth says, he says in the video, I haven't seen the video because I can't find this video. This video is taken down. You know, you spent all this money just to ruin my life again. Like think about what went into the production of that video. He had to hire sound people, actors, a lighting crew and make it look legit. So he probably spent like 10 grand just to set up this prank to assault his friend. So I just want to be very clear. This is assault. He was sexually assaulted, or sorry, essayed. He was essayed in this video by Jason Nash and by proxy David Dobrik because it was his idea. He thought it would be hilarious. He set it up. He put Jason up to it. And it's fucked up that it's out there in the world and nobody called it out. Nobody thought it was weird. Nobody told David that this is fucking weird. This is assault. Like you forced an old man onto somebody else. And I think that a lot of the times when it comes to male assault victims, we have biases and you have to look at things with my cat is sneezing. You have to look at things kind of reversed. Let's say it was a young girl that David tricked into kissing Jason Nash, an old man. What do you think the response would be? I think it would be a lot harsher, a lot swifter, and a lot meaner than what it was when it was Seth, a Black man who was the brunt of your joke. Because of this, Seth was driven to leave LA. He said that he was traumatized by the experience, that people would come up to him in LA and make jokes about it and mention it, and like he said it drove him to call an assault helpline, and he explained the situation, and it wasn't until somebody said, I'm sorry you were assaulted, that he realized that that's what had happened to him. Because a lot of the times when people are assaulted, they don't want to believe they were assaulted, or because our like society's outward definition of assault is so like specific, that sometimes these smaller instances of assault don't feel like assault, but they are. And it wasn't until that moment that he realized that that's what had happened to him. We have to talk about clout chasing because people love to say everything is for clout. But I just want to say, what is Seth getting out of this? He came out and he has gotten very little support. Let's be real, if he would have just shut up and stayed in the vlog squad, he would have more clout than he does now because he would be in David Dobrik's in crew. And let's stop pretending that victims of assault are somehow treated lovely by society. It just doesn't happen. That's not how it is at all. Also, this was posted on the H3 podcast on February 17th. I didn't hear about it until last week because an insider article came out and my best friend told me about it because she listens to the Frenemies podcast and told me that I should talk about this and look into it, and she sent me the video and I was like, why the fuck is no one talking about this? And then literally only because the insider, whoever the insider writer is, thank you for publicizing this, they posted about it, and then BuzzFeed posted about it, and then finally Philip DeFranco covered it. But even still after that, I've seen nothing about it. Creepshow Art posted a video about how David Dobrik is Jake Paul light and like facts. You should definitely go watch that video. But other than that, what is the clout he's getting from this? And even if you watch the podcast, he literally says, I have no ill will towards David. I think David's a good person, but I think people need to understand that what happened was wrong, and people need to understand that this is assault. And, you know, I just don't want this to happen to anybody else. Like, he's not out here with malice trying to cancel David Dobrik. He's just trying to share his story and have people understand that what happened to him was wrong and it wasn't just a funny prank. It was fucked up. I just want to say I fully support Seth, and I think that what David did was fucked up. What Jason did was fucked up. According to Trisha and Ethan Klein, there are other allegations out there against Jason Nash, but people don't want to come forward, which I totally understand. And obviously Trisha is a questionable source in of herself. However, I do believe that there are other allegations out there, and I do believe that this was, like, think about the fact that they did this on camera and thought it was super funny. And what else is interesting in this video is that David Dobrik doesn't pay the Vlog Squad members. So if you'll remember in that second video, he told him it was a commercial for $2,500, and Seth said, I was depending on that money to like move for like first and last month on a place. Like, I needed that money to live. And he said that they weren't paid for the prank videos. They weren't paid to be on the that channel. You know, in the A3 podcast, they made a good point that, you know, people view it as like a sitcom, or one of his producers kind of referred it to like Jackass. It's a bunch of guys who are pranking each other for this show, but they're all getting paid. But in this instance, David Dobrik is the only person getting paid, and he's not paying the people who are in his videos. Sure, it might be his content and his ideas, so yes, he should be making more of the money, but without them, he doesn't have a channel, he doesn't have a platform, he doesn't have people to prank. So why isn't he paying these people? This man is worth millions of dollars. He just bought a $10 million house. So why is he not paying these people? And these people are, if these people are your friends, you should want them to have things. You should want to pay them. You shouldn't want them to be begging you for $2,500 for a commercial that you lied to them about. And Seth said he went to David after the whole prank and was like, listen, you told me that I was going to make $2,500 today, and I was relying on that money. And instead of being like, oh, fuck, you're right, David said, oh, come on, it was just a prank. I'll tag you in the video. So many times influencers always talk about how companies are trying to pay influencers with exposure and views instead of actually paying them for their time and money. And at this point, to me, David is just another evil fucking corporation, because it's exactly what he's doing. He's trying to pay his friends with exposure, but exposure doesn't pay the fucking bills. And when the exposure is just to David's channel, what is Seth supposed to do with that? So Seth did say that David ended up paying him the $2,500, but only after Seth literally had to beg him for it. And like, how fucking embarrassing and dehumanizing to have to beg the person who just assaulted you to pay you the money they told you they were going to pay you, that they lied to you about. Like, that's so fucked up. And just the fact that he's not paying these members of his community these friends' money is ridiculous to me because they are as much a part of his channel as he is. And in the Insider article, Seth raises an interesting point about how these are basically young adults with no real work experience running companies at this point. And it sounds like David Dobrik doesn't have any adults around to tell him what's right or wrong. It sounds like he doesn't have anyone around to be like an HR department or tell him what he should be doing as a business owner, because that's what he's doing. He's running a business. These people are basically working for him and he's not paying them. And, you know, YouTube is mostly unregulated and David is out here running a company basically pulling the same shit as Jake Paul. The only difference is that David is somewhat more likable than Jake Paul. So, you know, he has this cute little smile and he acts nice, so everyone lets it slide when he's literally assaulting people live on the internet. And you know, after I watched this video, I started doing my own research on David Dobrik, and I found a video or a link on Pop Sugar that was David Dobrik's best pranks. And I hadn't, like I said, I never watched his video before, but I started watching these pranks and I was fucking mortified. He's literally tormenting his friends for views. His assistant, who is literally an employee of his, is terrified of lizards, so he has her lay on the ground. He puts a Komodo dragon on top of her. Emma Chamberlain, same thing. She's terrified of snakes, so what does he do? He has her lay on the ground, he puts a fucking snake on top of her and watches her panic and laughs about it. Even Trisha Paytas, who I am her biggest proponent, I saw a video where he followed her and Jason on a trip. He hid in their shower while they fucked, which Jason knew he was there, which is a whole other issue. And then Trisha goes to shower and David jumps out at her and she's fully naked and she freaks out and he laughs. Like, I'm sorry, you were in someone's hotel shower while they had sex just to get a little jump scare? Like, what is wrong with you? That is not normal behavior, and nor is that funny. That is crossing like lines left and right. Oh my god, there's also another video where he tricks one of his friends who wants to be an actor by telling him that he has this huge role for him to play Seth Rogen's little brother in Knocked Up 2. He has him, again, has a script that he has to practice and write, and he goes into the audition. He even has his friend pretend to be Seth Rogen to call in, and then he reveals that it was a prank all along. So his friend just had all these hopes up, his biggest dream in front of him, and David ripped it away and acted like it was a joke. And in the video, you can see this guy is fucking crushed. And it's probably, you know, it's a multitude of things. It's the fact that you thought something great was going to happen and it was ripped away from you. It's the fact that your friend lied to you and thinks your pain is funny. Like, I don't know what kind of frat boy fucking shitty humor this is, but it's not funny or cute. These are terrible things. He's literally monetizing his friend's pain. And I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound like a friend to me. There's also videos of him pretending as a home intruder in the home, and he has Gabby Hanna there and she thinks that she's literally going to die, and he videotapes that. He has fake police arrest his friends. There's one video where he tells Seth he's gonna turn him into the police. Seth, a black man, turn him into the police for an arrest warrant he has based on no parking tickets. You're gonna turn a black man into the police like it's funny? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, it's literally very clear to me after watching these handful of videos that David Dobrik is not the innocent, beautiful child we all thought he was. He's not YouTube's saving grace. You know, Creepshow compared him to Jake Paul, but I'm going to compare him to Shane Dawson, because Jake Paul was never YouTube's sweetheart, but Shane Dawson was, and we all watched. So many people watched his shitty, problematic behavior and let it slide until it all piled up and became too much. And I see the same thing happening to David Dobrik. He's nice and everyone loves him and he's YouTube's sweetheart, but there are some scary, fucked up videos out there that should not be okay and should not be tolerated. And also, pay your fucking employees. Put your business together and make it a real business, because this is ridiculous. And that is my video. I stand with Seth. I believe that Seth deserves justice. People need to understand that what happened to Seth was not okay. And for those that say that, you know, Seth and Big Nick should have just spoken up, they both discussed that other people in the vlog squad or surrounding areas who had spoken up and then they vanished. They slowly, all of a sudden, they weren't in content anymore. And, you know, they saw, again, like, this is another conversation of an abuse of power where David uses his power to convince his employees and his friends to do stuff that would be funny for the channel to get David views, and it benefits his friends in no way because he's not paying them. You know, it might be a little bit different if he was actually paying these people a salary, which he should be doing. He should be paying them a percentage of the profits of every video. But he doesn't do that. He is exploiting his friends, paying for views. He is exploiting their work without paying for them. And, you know, Seth talked about how he literally had to ask, like, bug David for a couple $100s for actual work he had done, because he said in the background he was helping set up videos for Jason and David and people weren't paying them. And he was like, how fucked up is it that I'm having to hound a millionaire for $500 to pay me my bills? Like, the idea that David's friends aren't living a fucking lavish life and he is fucked up, considering they basically are his content. I think that David is sweeping this under the rug. He's trying not to address it. It's been over a week and I haven't seen him address it at all, and I think that's fucked up and he needs to say something, and we should not let this just drift on by. We should not let this go. This is a serious thing he has done, and he needs to acknowledge the pain he has caused and acknowledge that what he did is fucked up, because I'm not okay with it. Seth's not okay with it. And when you hurt someone like that, you need to take fucking accountability for it. And the fact that he hasn't taken accountability just shows me the kind of person he is. He's the kind of YouTuber that gets in shit and just tries to pretend it never happened because he's big enough that he can do that, and it's not okay. So that is my video. Let me know down below if you guys had even heard about this before, because I know that it hadn't gotten a lot of traction online. Let me know what you think about the original pranks. Let me know what you think about David Dobrik as a whole. Do you watch his channel? Do you think he's wholesome? Do you think he's a little bit less than wholesome? Jake Paul Light, as Creepshow called him. Let me know down below. I would love to see your guys' thoughts and opinions. And thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you next time. Bye!